allowed to come if I was going to use it in a negative way?
No, nothing can be disguised or hidden here. We know your motives better than you know them yourself.
I try very hard to be positive. Is there anything else you would like to see in that tapestry before we leave it?
I see my own thread now. It's silver and copper in color as it weaves through the tapestry. The guardian of the tapestry is saying it's time for me to leave. He says, you don't need this knowledge. In time you can look, but not at this present time. He's discussing my soul's growth, and he's sort of calling me for a task on it. He says I was such a ray of light, and I had allowed myself to grow dim. That's why I had to go back to the Earth School.
So you can make amends?
Well, by understanding universal laws and love, I could gain my light back. It's easier to go through the Earth School than to incarnate on other dimensions. It's quicker.
How do you feel about him telling me that?
Well, I don't like it. I'm embarrassed, actually. I feel very chastised. I mean, he's perfectly right that it's my fault. I've sidestepped my responsibilities, so I had to incarnate. But it's not like he's pointing his finger and saying, no, 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 no. He's doing it lovingly. He's embraced me now, and he says, good luck on your mission.
I could not resist the temptation, so I asked, I wonder if my thread's in there anywhere.
Yes, your thread's there. Your thread is a bright, shining copper color that gets stronger. It starts out kind of small, and then it gets bigger and bigger, influencing many other threads. This tapestry is a very magical... He's asking us to leave. You were looking at your own life, and that's not good to do at this point.
No, but that's just human curiosity.
But now he is showing me the steps. And he's saying, why don't you take a walk down there and see what's there?
Like we shouldn't get too nosy, I suppose.
Yes, he's saying, you've had enough to look at for now. I think the guardian of the tapestry was implying that we shouldn't look too much into our own future.
That makes sense, because if we knew what's going to happen to us, would we still do the things we were planning to do? Okay, then do you think we should leave there?
Yes, I'm walking down the staircase from the tapestry room now. I'm inside the Temple of Wisdom, walking down the hall. It looks as if there are precious stones in the walls, like emeralds, rubies, peridot, and crystal. It's so beautiful. It's very radiant and very hollow. You feel it's a very hushed feeling. Ahead of me is the library. I'm walking into it now. It looks as if precious stones are on the mantels and doors, and they shine with their own light. I'm in a huge study. There are books and scrolls on everything, and all types of manuscripts on the shelves. There is a beautiful light streaming in, illuminating the whole place. It's made of gold, silver, and precious stones, but they all reflect light so you can read. The whole building seems to be made of this wondrous material.
This library in the spirit realm was not a strange place for me. I have journeyed there many times with the aid of my subjects. Several have mentioned it, and their descriptions vary only slightly. The guardian of the library has always been eager to help me in my quest for knowledge, and I have used our access to this place to gain information about many various topics. This is one of my favorite places. I like any place that has books and manuscripts. Are there other people there?
Oh, there are people in the other part. It's a big area, almost cathedral size. There's a man there, he's a spirit, and he's just luminous. He's talking about preparing for the Earth School, and there are only a few people listening to him right now. Other people are in groups or walking around silently carrying manuscripts and books to different places. It's the air of, like, scholars. They're studying. Everybody has a sense of purpose, and there's a sense of serenity. There's music that seems to fill the whole place. It's just barely audible, but it tinkles. It's pretty music.
It sounds like a very beautiful place.
Yeah, it's really nice. Everything glimmers and everybody is in beautiful robes. The clothing looks as if it's transparent, but electric colors shine through them. They're the people's orbs.
Is there anyone in charge? How do you find anything?
Yes, there is a spirit guide who is the guardian of the library. He is at a desk there and he is writing at the present time. And I am asked, "What is your request?"
Is he very busy at this moment?
"Oh no." He says, "No, no, no. This is wonderful. To be of service is very important."
All right. Can he look up information for us?
He says there are some restrictions.
Can he tell us what they are? I like to know when I'm breaking any rules.
He says it's not good to delve too much into your personal futures. That is a no-no ruling. That's not good. It causes disharmony.
All right. We're not going to do that. Are there any other restrictions?
He says that's the main restriction.
Are people that are still in the physical allowed to come to the library?
He says, yes, they come through their astral travels, their dreams. Actually, dreaming is astral traveling. They come, and not all the time are they aware of what they're doing because it's kind of like a little bit of fog for them. It's rather rare that we have people who are incarnated that seek us. There are a few, but not many. He has shown me around. There's the library with the huge rotunda where people are gathered in groups and studying and discussing issues. They are all able to go into viewing rooms around the perimeter of this room to view things if they wish. All knowledge is stored in these, but it's not like a computer. People don't need computers here. Information is just relayed by intelligent thought. And he says we could go into the scriptorium. This is where things are read. This is where people that can relate to writing and reading like to go. It's part of the library complex.
The scriptorium is a different part in the library?
Yes, it's for people that are not very advanced souls. They're medium advanced souls that still need the written word to make sense to their consciousness.
They wouldn't understand the viewing rooms?
Well, they would understand them, but this is how they choose to learn, by reading from the book.
In that case, they can take the books and sit there and read them and also write?
Right. Write in them too. Some of them do.
Is that allowed? Wouldn't that be changing them?
He says, yes, it's allowed. Anything for the soul's growth is allowed. That's why sometimes you see children born with horribly disfiguring diseases. Everything's allowed. It's all for the same purpose of reaching spiritual perfection.
But I thought they weren't allowed to write in these books because they were eternal records and shouldn't be defaced or changed.
The tapestry is the eternal thing. That's the only thing that's not touchable. But he says whatever is necessary for a soul's growth is allowed. For some people, it's books, but for most advanced souls, it's just information.
Then those are the ones that can absorb the knowledge better in the viewing room?
Yes.
I was wondering if there were any restrictions about who could come to the library.
There are no restrictions, this is true, but low-level energy souls find it very hard to step into this realm. They feel frightened or afraid of this area, and thus he says they do not seek to come here.
I wonder why it would frighten them.
They still carry most of the negative qualities of their former existences: greed, jealousy, lust, things that lower one's vibrations. So as a result, they stay mostly down on what he calls the lower astral world. They really have difficulty entering this area. They're kind of repelled.
It doesn't sound like they would be looking for knowledge anyway.
He says, well, we are here to be of service for them. In fact, we have branch libraries down among the lower astral world, and it takes a really great spiritual entity to man these stations, but they hardly ever get used. These lower entities are still seeking out experiences in the physical form. This is why they hang out in places that are degenerative or degrading to man's soul.
I was curious about why we were allowed to come into this place.
Your soul's sense of purpose is manifested.
So they know the reasons why we are looking for information.
Oh, they understand. Just by allowing yourself to enter a circle of white light, we know you are of the higher astral, and we can read your motives behind what you are seeking. Nothing can be hidden.
Would we be allowed to look at some of this information?
He said you can go into the viewer.
Where is that?
He's taking me into this other room.
Okay, I am interested in these different planes of existence. I thought it might be easier if you could see these things in the viewing room instead of actually going to the different planes. That might be uncomfortable for you to try that. But if the guardian could give you information about them or show them to you, it would be easier. Would he be able to do that?
Yes, he says the astral world is divided into three parts: the lower, middle, and upper astral planes.
First of all, I am curious about the lower planes, so let's start there. Can he tell us what they are like, and what type of people or spirits are there?
Yes, we walked into the viewing room and he's showing me. He says, just call attention to whatever you wish to see and all kinds of images will come in. They're on the walls.
Is it like a screen on one wall or what?
Not really like a screen. It surrounds you. I'm in the middle of it watching it. And he says that the lower astral is just terrible. He says, we pray for these lower entities, but it's as if they are tied to the earth. They're not in human form, but they're still on the earth. And they are like, this is gross.
What do you see?
Well, I just saw someone get shot. And there's a whole group of spirits watching that and shouting, oh, isn't that great? Look at all those blood and guts.
You mean they were watching a physical person get shot?
They're watching two people. A black man and another black man had a shootout with each other over a drug deal. And there's like, about 1,000 spirits watching this. It's almost like, oh, there goes another one. Where are we going to go next? Oh, look at this girl. She's getting raped. Let's watch that. They're witnessing all this brutality. And the guardian tells me they have to watch this to see how they've lived their own lives. They've lived like this in a very degenerate way. And he says these spirits have to learn from this.
Do you mean that after they died, they just stayed around these areas? Or what?
No, they were forced. They couldn't go any higher. You see, their vibrational rate spiritually is very low. They're a dense vibration and they can't go any higher up. So they have to watch the physical world. They interact with this world.
I was thinking that sounds something like our version of hell.
It is a version. It is a hell. Because until they learn how to reincarnate and